Hi there. Welcome to the Little Corner. My name is Mikey Cantu. We are here with.
Daniel Elliott. Yeah.
It's good to see you here, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you for
absolutely.
joining us.
Yeah, you got it.
So, you said you worked entirely alone on this project. First of all, before we get into it, what is the project for the people that don't know?
Absolutely. Yeah, I directed, filmed, and edited a feature film called From Seed to Sustainability. It's a 1 hour feature film focused on Plant a Seed Foundation. It's a local nonprofit here in Modesto, California, but they also do a lot of projects globally as well.
How do you decide, like, what equipment is needed and, like, what equipment can essentially, like, stay at home, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, one of the things, being in the film industry over the last, 10 years, I've definitely optimized and streamlined a lot of my setup. I film a lot of weddings internationally and but also in the States as well. And so I have a similar setup for weddings, either whether I'm filming here locally in Modesto, California, or even in another state or even country. And so over the years, I've really just honed in on like what gear I really need to bring for video shoots. Now, if it's like local video production, I have like the C-stands, boom poles, the whole 9 yards of like everything. Now, when you go internationally, it's a lot harder to actually take C-stands and sandbags and all these type of things. So over the years, I've really tried to optimize the gear that I actually bring when I'm on set. And again, some of that's just trial and error, more than anything. I've always loved filming on Canon. And so I think once you start investing in a certain brand and you buy the lenses, it's a big investment. And so I've always just kept the Canon cameras and system for filming, and then over the time just making things more streamlined and efficient in the gear that I actually bring on set, whether it's for weddings or for video productions. So right now I can film everything on like two small Pelican cases that I have as like my carry-on, and then I have like one big bag that has tripods, light stands, lights, and everything for video production.
Okay. What was your favorite part about the experience?
Absolutely. Yeah, my favorite part for this experience and project was just how diverse the project was itself. Just from the initial get-go, just hearing all the things that the nonprofit does, specifically here in Modesto, California, but then also globally as well. That made it really exciting for me to take it on. The nonprofit, they've been partnering in Uganda for over 25 years. And so there's a lot of just history and relationships that have been built with the people in Uganda. And so that, again, made it really exciting to take on the project. And just knowing they had footage and videos from 20 years ago. And for me, that adds a little bit of a real cool aspect to the filmmaking, but also the story, because you and I can talk about that. But man, once you see like old photos and, it's got all the grain on the videos and it's not the best quality or lighting or anything like that, that again adds more to the story rather than just people talking day in and day out. So, yeah.
And Uganda is such a beautiful place. Like, what was it like afterwards? Because I assumed you edited all after you got back from the trip. So,
Yeah.
what was it like reminiscing through that footage as you were watching it, and what was the process also like deciding what to leave in and what to cut out?
Yeah. I think even before going to Uganda, I did a lot of just pre-production, figuring out my shot lists and the music that I was going to use more than anything else. Because when you're filming, I'm always thinking about the edit as well. I have a hard time separating those, And so when I'm filming, I'm getting specific shots that I know I'm going to use in the edit. I'm thinking about the music that I've already picked just for the style that I'm filming as well. And so a lot of that really helped me kind of hone in on the shots and the story that I was really telling while I was there, but also even after in the edit. And I think a lot of the post production too is like organizing all that footage too of shots of nature or shots of the school or the kids. That made the editing a lot easier as well, or just organizing all the footage rather than like camera one, day one. It's like, okay, that was camera one, day one, but again, it takes a little bit of time to organize all that footage, and that made the editing part of that process a lot easier, to really jump back in and tell the full story.
Now, I was recently able to watch a little bit of your film. It was, actually, I'm speechless. I don't know. I was watching it and it was just very beautiful to watch it grow to something just so immaculate. So, what was like? I guess what was your mindset in? Because you did say you had like a tight timeline. So, what was your mindset like during that timeline? And like, I guess, do you prefer to be more creative under pressure, or do you like to have time to do things?
Yeah, I think as a creative, we all enjoy kind of that process. I think for me, we started promoting the premiere 3 months before I had the film. So the premiere, we had that in December of 2025, and I didn't really start working on the feature film until like September, and so that's a pretty tight timeline. And so I really enjoy working in like high stress environments. Being in the wedding industry for over 10 years, I'm really comfortable like filming a wedding now. My first wedding, I was like, okay, where's the tripod? Like, I didn't want to like miss the shot of, especially of the kiss. Like, there's so many moments on a wedding day that you can't recreate.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of that anticipation that you want to be ready for more than anything else. And so that has really trained me and prepared me for those high pressure type moments, especially in the editing. But I would say I really thrive in those environments for sure.
What difficulties do you come across when you are filmmaking, and how did you find your sustainability?
Yeah, I think some of the difficulties I've found as a filmmaker is just, again, creating a sustainable life for myself, whether it's taking on certain projects. Like this whole feature film wasn't funded or anything like that, and so I dedicated over 2,000 hours into the project to hopefully use it to promote and bring awareness to what the nonprofit Plant Seed Foundation is doing here in Modesto, California. But also, I think there's a part of me that, like, as a creative business person, I love to take risks, like flying to certain locations just to say, hey, I've done that, or hey, this is part of my portfolio now. And so I think there's some of that factors into just doing life more than anything else. Let's see, what else? I think just on a creative set, or anytime you're working with a client, like knowing who the creative direction or person is really helpful. Like for example, this feature film, I had full creative control over everything from the filming to the editing to everything. And so that really just let my brain just like really explore and just create something really amazing. Obviously, the Lord has done that, guided me through that whole process, but there's some difficulties. You have some clients that you work with that they have a certain style or way that they need things done, which is totally fine. But sometimes some projects you work on and it's like not as creative. Like for example, like real estate. Real estate is like you have a house, you have rooms, you have to do a walkthrough. It's the same thing over and over again. Like that for me is so boring. It's just not creative at all. It sounds awesome, but it's just not.
You make the most money out of it too.
Depends, yeah. Yeah, you can make some good money doing it, but it's not creative for me at all. And they have just really tight deadlines. Like if you're filming in the morning at like 10 a.m., they need that video by noon. I'm like, this is insane, and the pay a lot of times isn't the best, or it could be good depending on where you're at. But yeah, those are definitely some difficulties for sure.
And so, you said you've been doing this for what, 15 years?
Yeah,
just
15
about?
years. Yeah.
So, what were some, I guess, I believe I asked this question earlier, but I guess I'll go a little bit more into depth. What were roadblocks that came in the way of doing what you wanted to do? And then what also helped with those roadblocks? And I guess what I'm asking is like, what was there any pushbacks in any forms? And if so, what were they?
Yeah, I think some of the roadblocks I had just in the film industry and world, I think is like creatively. Like sometimes people will tell you, "Hey, I don't think that's like a good idea," or even just like being told no. I think for me personally, I love being told no because then that pushes me even further to be creative, right? I love I love the editing process because you have a starting and ending point, and you got to figure out how to get from starting to ending. And there's so many different avenues and ways that you can tell a story. And so creatively, there's just over the years, there's always been different clients or new clients that I've taken on that would always have a different direction. And, we'd wrap up a project, and then like I would always just be like, oh, I don't want to keep working with that client just because they don't allow me to be fully creative in the story or in editing, or they just don't like my style, because there's so many different ways of approaching filmmaking or editing or anything like that. I think another roadblock for sure is definitely money. With this project, doing it all by myself, ideally I would have loved to have like a full-on production team. I actually got sponsored by someone in our community here in Modesto, California, to fly and to go to Uganda. And so that was, again, a really cool thing for someone to sponsor me. But then also partnering with Plant Seed Foundation has been really cool. But yeah, definitely money can be a limitation for sure. But like, don't let that stop you from going out and just creating, like even if you want to go create a movie or something, you can totally do it on your phone. It doesn't have to have the best camera or the best lighting or the best audio. Like as long as you're out there making, videos and movies, like, man, that's the dream. Like the gear and the money, it will come for sure. You just gotta go out and make projects and just be inspired creatively.
Now, you said most of this was inspired or like brought to you by God.
Mm-hmm.
God does some amazing work, I would know. He's helped me a lot. Was there any point at any time in your like 15 years of filmmaking where you kind of questioned, I guess, your faith, or like, yeah, just questioned your faith in any aspect at all?
Yeah, not necessarily question, but definitely in the last 7 years, I was working at a church here in Modesto, and I was doing that like full time, video production, graphic design, and then also running my video production business on top of that. And so there was about a time frame where I was working like 70 to 80 hours a week, and that wasn't sustainable for me at all. And so I really was questioning, like, okay, God, like, where do you want me to be at? Do you want me to be comfortable in this full-time job where I get like a paycheck every 2 weeks, or, really try to grow my business even more and fully rely on you and be uncomfortable with an unsteady income? There's weddings are very seasonal, and so trying to build up retainer clients to be sustainable, and so now that I've been doing it the last 2 years like full time, it's been really fun but also scary, but like I'm more comfortable in the uncomfortableness of doing freelance and running my business. And so I think that's a fun, again, that's not for everybody. Like some people love the 9 to 5. Like that's just not me. Like
I couldn't do it either.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
You're okay. I noticed that in the film, the man said that it was on God's time when everything good would happen. So
Yeah.
you feel like that's what happened. He kind of gave you that push when you truly needed it.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of when I was wrestling with those questions of like, okay, Lord, like, where do you want me to go in business and career wise? Like, again, that matched kind of in the film. You know, there's a line where, you know, they're talking about God's timing, and I think there's times where the Lord just calls us to step out of faith, and we don't even know which door is opening, but just walking out of that. But then there's also times where he makes it very clear, like, hey, I'm going to guide you along. And so, again, just surrendering my finances and my life and business and everything to him. And again, he provides all that for sure.
Absolutely beautiful. Is there like any other foundation you would like to work with in the future?
Oh man, yeah. There's a lot of great foundations, especially in the Modesto area, but even like globally. One of the foundations for sure is the Boys and Girls Club. I think I love sports, and so I think there's a cool connection and tie with the Boys and Girls Club for sure. Both here in Modesto, but then also like globally as well. So I think that's a really cool foundation.
I have a few friends who are in correlation with them, so
Yeah.
I really love what they do.
Yeah.
And so, before we get off the show, finally, what are some projects we can hope to see in the future? And where can we find you online for the people at home?
Yeah. Some upcoming projects I'm working on. I'm actually doing some other local nonprofit documentaries as well right now. So I'm doing there's a local nonprofit called Redwood Family Center here in Modesto. They help women that were using drugs and have had their kids taken from CPS, and it's a faith-based organization, but they really help these women get back on their feet. They have a treatment center to help them get off their drugs and alcohol and all these things that were unhealthy patterns. And so it's an amazing organization and great people, amazing people there. And so that's a current project I'm working on right now. There's another project for the Vine House here in Modesto that helps the homeless. And then Night to Shine is always an annual project for me that I love helping with. That's an event every year, and it's the same whether it's here in Modesto or globally. Every year they have a night to where they welcome honored guests. A lot of times it's people that have special needs, and so it's a night for the guests to really just celebrate the Lord's faithfulness in their lives, walking down like a red carpet, but also having a dance party and different things. And so they have it here in Modesto, Turlock, Manteca, but also globally as well. It's like the same event happening like across the globe. So it's a beautiful thing for sure. Those are kind of the upcoming projects for sure.
Okay. And for those at home, where can we find you online?
Yeah.
Instagram, YouTube?
Yeah, you can definitely find me on Instagram at anchorandlightfilms.com, and also on YouTube, and also my website at Anchor and Light Films.
Alrighty. Well, this has been Mikey Cantu and
Daniel Elliott.
Thank you for joining us on the Little Corner. We'll see you next time.
Awesome, bro.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.